You've been watching your teen for weeks now, maybe months, and something in your gut keeps saying, this isn't normal teenage stuff. This is something different. But you don't want to overreact. You don't want to be that parent who rushes to therapy over normal teenage moodiness. So you wait and you watch, and the worry gets heavier. And finally, you ask yourself the question you've been avoiding. Does my teen need therapy? Here's what I want you to know. If you're asking that question, it's already time to get an assessment. But I also know you need more than that. You need to know what you're actually looking for. What's the line between normal teenage struggle and something that requires professional help? So today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 signs that mental health professionals say you should not ignore. And then I'm going to tell you exactly what to do while you wait for that first appointment. But first, a critical disclaimer. I am not a therapist. I am not a mental health professional. I cannot diagnose your teen. This video is educational only, based on guidance from mental health experts. If you see these signs, please reach out to a licensed therapist, your teen's doctor, or a crisis hotline. The resources are in the description below. And if your teen is talking about suicide or hurting themselves, this is not the video you need right now. You need to call 988, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, or take them to the emergency room immediately. Okay, let's talk about the signs. The first sign is a drastic change in who your teen is. And I want to be really specific here. I'm not talking about normal teenage shifts. I'm not talking about trying new music or new friends or a new style. I'm talking about a fundamental change in their personality that happens over weeks, not years. The teen who was social is now isolated. The teen who loved sports now refuses to go. The teen who was optimistic is now hopeless. The teen who was calm is now explosive. Here's the key. It's not just one area. It's multiple areas at once. Let me give you an example. Sarah was 15. She'd always been involved in theater. She had a close group of friends. She was doing well in school. Over the course of about 6 weeks, everything changed. She quit theater with no explanation. She stopped answering her friends' texts. Her grades dropped from A's and B's to D's and F's, and she started sleeping until 2 p.m. on weekends. When her mom asked what was wrong, Sarah would say, "Nothing, I'm fine, just tired." That's not teenage moodiness. That's a drastic shift in functioning, and it's a red flag. Now, sometimes these changes have an obvious trigger, a breakup, a move, a loss, and sometimes there's no trigger you can see. Either way, if your teen is fundamentally different in multiple areas of their life, and it's happening quickly, that's sign number 1. The second sign is extreme social withdrawal. Again, I need to be specific here. Teenagers do need alone time. They do pull away from parents. That's developmentally normal. But extreme withdrawal looks different. It's when your teen stops seeing friends altogether, when they used to hang out every weekend, and now they haven't left the house in a month. It's when they stop responding to texts, when their friends stop calling because they've been shut out too many times. It's when they come home from school and go straight to their room, close the door, and you don't see them again until the next morning. And here's the part that makes this hard to recognize. They'll tell you they're fine. They'll say they just want to be alone. They'll say their friends are annoying or fake. But if you look closely, you'll see something underneath. Not preference, pain. Here's what extreme withdrawal actually looks like from the inside. I can't face people. I don't have the energy to pretend I'm okay. I feel like a burden. They're better off without me. That's not introversion. That's isolation driven by something deeper. Depression, anxiety, trauma. And if it goes on for more than a few weeks, if your teen is pulling away not just from you, but from everyone, that's sign number 2. The third sign is the one that terrifies every parent: self-harm or mentions of suicide. And I need to be very, very clear about this. Any mention of suicide, even if it seems casual, even if they say they're joking, is a reason to get help immediately. I wish I wasn't here. Everyone would be better off without me. I just want to disappear. What's the point of anything? Those are not dramatic teenage statements. Those are cries for help. And self-harm, cutting, burning, hitting themselves, anything that causes physical pain is not a phase. It's not attention-seeking. It's a coping mechanism for emotional pain that has become unbearable. Here's what a lot of parents don't understand. Self-harm is not usually about wanting to die. It's about wanting the pain to stop. It's a way of externalizing internal agony. But here's the critical part. Self-harm and suicidal ideation often escalate. What starts as, "I just thought about it," can progress to a plan. And a plan can progress to an attempt. So, if you find cuts on your teen's arms or legs, if you see scars they're trying to hide, if they're making comments about death or not being here, you don't wait. You don't monitor. You get help that day. Call their doctor, call a therapist, call 988, but do not wait. I know this is terrifying. I know you're scared that bringing it up will make it worse. But here's the truth. Talking about suicide does not plant the idea. It opens the door for your teen to get the help they desperately need. This is sign number 3, and it's non-negotiable. The fourth sign is academic collapse. Not a bad semester, not struggling in one class, collapse. Straight A's dropping to F's. Missing assignments in every class. Teachers reaching out with concern. Your teen stopping caring about school entirely. And here's what makes this a sign of something bigger. They're not just struggling academically. They've lost the ability to care. When you ask about their grades, they shrug. When you try to help with homework, they shut down. When consequences come, detention, failing a class, they seem almost relieved. Like they're getting what they deserve. That's not laziness. That's hopelessness. Depression and anxiety don't just affect mood. They affect executive function. The ability to plan, organize, start tasks, finish tasks. When your teen's brain is consumed by emotional pain, there's no capacity left for algebra. So, if your teen's academic performance has fallen off a cliff and they seem disconnected from the consequences, that's not a discipline problem. That's a mental health problem, and it's sign number 4. The fifth sign is substance use or increasingly risky behaviors. Now, I know some teenagers experiment. I know that's a conversation every parent has to navigate. But what I'm talking about here is different. It's when your teen is using substances not to have fun at a party, but to numb something. When they're drinking alone, when they're using before school, when it's not social, it's self-medication. And risky behaviors look like this: driving recklessly, unsafe sexual behavior, disappearing for hours with no explanation, putting themselves in dangerous situations and not caring about the consequences. What these behaviors have in common is this: they all scream, "I don't value my safety. I don't care what happens to me." And that's not rebellion, that's pain. When a teen engages in behavior that could seriously hurt them and they don't seem to care, that's a mental health crisis. So if you're seeing substance use that's escalating, or risky behaviors that feel out of character and dangerous, that's sign number 5. Okay, so you've recognized one or more of these signs. You've called a therapist, and they told you, "Our first available appointment is in 6 weeks." What do you do while you wait? First, you keep them safe. If there's any risk of self-harm or suicide, you remove access to means. Lock up medications. Remove sharp objects from their room. You don't make this punitive, you make it matter of fact. I love you, and I'm going to make sure you stay safe while we get you help. Second, you stay present without hovering. You check in daily, not with interrogations, with presence. I'm here if you want to talk. I love you. You don't have to go through this alone. You don't fix it, you don't minimize it, you just show up. Third, you reach out to their school. Talk to the counselor. Let them know your teen is struggling and you're getting help. Ask if there are accommodations that can be made while you wait for therapy. Extended deadlines, reduced workload, a check-in system. Fourth, you take care of yourself, because if you fall apart, you can't be the stable presence your teen needs. Talk to a friend. See a therapist yourself. Join a support group. And fifth, you hold hope for them, because right now, they can't hold it for themselves. You believe they will get through this, even when they don't. Now, let's talk about how to bring up therapy without your teen shutting you down. Here's what not to say. You need therapy. Something's wrong with you. You're not yourself. I'm worried you're going to do something stupid. Here's what to say instead. I've noticed you've been going through a really hard time. I can see you're in pain, even if you don't want to talk about it. And I want to get you some support. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because everyone deserves help when they're struggling. And then, I found a therapist who specializes in working with teenagers. I'd like you to meet them once, just to see if it's helpful. If it's not, we'll figure out something else. But I need you to try. Be honest, be calm, and make it clear. Therapy is not punishment, it's support. And if they refuse, you go anyway. You talk to the therapist yourself. You get guidance on how to support your teen. If you're watching this video because you're scared, I want you to hear this. Recognizing that your teen needs help is not a failure, it's love. And getting them that help is one of the bravest things you can do. You're not overreacting, you're paying attention, and that matters. If your teen is in crisis right now, please call 988. If they've mentioned suicide, don't wait for this video to end. Get help now. For everyone else, I'll put therapy resources in the description below. How to find a therapist, what to ask in the first session, what to do if they can't get in for weeks. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about teen depression specifically, what parents get wrong, what actually helps, and how to support your teen through it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring this much. Your teen is lucky to have you. I'll see you in the next one.